The silver moon floated high, spilling pale light through the dense canopy. 4 figures darted through the forest, shadows slipping from branch to branch, until they came to rest behind the shelter of a massive cedar. They were revealed in the moonlight. Akitoshi, his katana strapped to his back, the scar across his cheek catching a faint silver glow. Beside him stood Kagayaki, tall, bald and bearded, his sheer presence carrying weight and command. And then, the twins, Ria, her black hair framing fierce, determined eyes as she held one infant close. Mia, her pale hair glimmering softly, cradling the other child in her arms. The babies stirred faintly as the distant rumble of pursuit rolled across the mountains. Kagayaki folded his arms, a deep scowl carving into his face. They're closing in. Every step, they grow bolder. Akitoshi's grin broke the tension. Then we don't stick to the plan. We switch it up. Mia, Ria, you two take care of the ones on our trail. The sisters answered in unison, teasing warmth in their tone. Yes, my love. They instantly snapped their eyes toward each other, sparks in their glares. Don't copy me, Ria said with a smirk. He clearly loves me more. Mia rolled her eyes, grinning. Please, if anyone's his favorite, it's me. Akitoshi chuckled, shaking his head. All right. You two can argue later. Save some of that energy for the enemies. His grin faded as he turned to Kagayaki, voice lowering. Pops, take the twins and the scrolls. We'll meet at the ship. Kagayaki's jaw tightened, his tone heavy with doubt. You're always so damn risky, boy. Akitoshi smirked. And you're always so uptight. Someone's got to balance us out, the older man scoffed. Balance? More like reckless. It's always the same, charging ahead, biting off more than you can chew. Akitoshi raised a brow, his grin sharpening. Maybe. But tonight, I'm just cleaning up the mess you started. Kagayaki bristled, beard twitching as a vein pulsed on his forehead. My mess? Boy, if this were mine, you wouldn't even hold a candle to the enemies I've faced. You're lucky I let you tag along. Akitoshi laughed, leaning in. Tag along? You'd be bored to death without me around, old man. Someone has to keep you on your toes. The only thing you've kept me on is high blood pressure. Kagayaki muttered, shaking his head. Well, good, Akitoshi said with a sly grin. At least we know your heart's still kicking. Kagayaki exhaled through his nose, pretending to be annoyed, though a faint smirk betrayed him. Carefully, he lifted the twins from Ria and Mia, tucking them into slings across his shoulders. From Akitoshi, he accepted the 6 dragon scrolls, slipping them into a pouch at his waist. 30 minutes, he said with authority. If you're not back at the ship, I set sail without you. The 3 answered as one. Understood. With a final glance, Kagayaki turned and disappeared into the shadows. The children and scrolls carried safely toward the shore. The wind whistled through the grass, the air growing still before battle. Ria stretched her arms, a smirk tugging her lips. Whoever takes down the strongest enemy gets bragging rights. And Akitoshi's heart. Mia's aura shimmered faintly as she grinned. Fine by me. Just don't cry when I win. A gust swept between them, tensions sparking. Okay, you two, Akitoshi said warmly. That's enough. Before either could react, he pulled them both into a tight embrace. I love you both equally. Just don't rip each other's heads off before the enemies get the chance. The twins flushed, stunned into silence, hearts racing. But by the time they looked up, Akitoshi's smirk had vanished with him, leaving only the whisper of his presence, gone into the shadows. Ria and Mia stood back to back, weapons ready. If you need help, Just teleport to my shadow, Mia offered. I'll handle it. Her thoughts betrayed her composure, dreamy and bubbling on the inside. Then I can tell Akitoshi I defeated them all myself, and he'll love me more, she said as she had hearts in her eyes, hands on her cheeks, and a bit of drool forming at the corner of her mouth. Ria rolled her eyes. Ha! You couldn't even hold a spoon without me. And judging from that face, you're planning to hog all the glory so you can brag to Aki, aren't you? Branches snapped. Footsteps drew closer. Shadowy figures emerged from the dark, a suffocating aura pressing down on the clearing. Mia smirked, eyes lighting up. Well, looks like I'll manifest my dreams right here and now. Ria laughed, narrowing her gaze. Dreams? You'd better brace for the nightmare you're about to face when Aki chooses me. Back to back, blades drawn, light and shadow spiraled around the sisters. The forest hushed for a heartbeat, then erupted as Warukage and his henchmen stepped into the moonlight. Steel rang. Ki flared. The drums of war thundered. Ria's daggers gleamed as shadows pooled beneath her feet. Mia's double-ended polearm spun in radiant arcs, the clearing illuminated in bursts of light. Henchmen poured forward, shouting, steel glinting. Try not to blink, sister, Mia teased, sweeping her polearm in a crescent of brilliance. You might miss the show. Ria's smirk widened, shadow tendrils flickering across the ground. Keep up, or I'll have Aki to myself. She slipped into the darkness, reappearing behind soldiers. She strikes swiftly with her daggers, slicing through multiple enemies with precision. Shadow tentacles burst from the ground, binding some in place and crushing others. Mia surged forward, ki radiating through her polearm, creating arcs of light that sweep across the battlefield, knocking several henchmen into the air. She leaps and uses her radiant step to teleport mid-air using the moonlight, letting out a omnidirectional blast to scatter foes. Upon landing, Mia sweeps the ground with a wave of light. It explodes, causing a group of enemies to be flung skyward. Ria, following up, teleports to the shadows under the falling enemies, conjuring up several shadow daggers, delivering precise strikes to the foes mid-air. It's like once you knock them down, they just line up again, huh, sis? She called. Darkness erupted beneath her feet as she unleashed her ability. Darkness falls, covering the ground with a cloud of shadows that erupt into spikes, impaling and pinning some enemies in place. Ria then appeared behind another cluster of enemies and launched them skyward on a pillar of darkness. Mia snapped her fingers, scattering sparks of light across the air. Each one ignited in dazzling explosions, and with a final teleport above the foes, she swung her polearm, releasing a sweeping arc that hurled foes back into the crowd below. She chuckled. You're really good at watching me fight, little sis. Ria scowled. You can't seriously think that was all you. Together they moved like one, light and shadow flowing in perfect sync. Enemies surged by the hundreds, only to be flung, cut down, or crushed in rhythm with the sisters' movements. Mia spun, a cone of light surging forward, dropping soldiers in swaths. Ria slipped through shadows, striking swiftly, her blades flashing in the dark. The battlefield blurred into a storm of radiance and darkness, every movement sharpened by instinct and bond. At last, the final soldier fell. Ria and Mia stood back to back, weapons humming with residual kai, their breaths steady. Their eyes met, an unspoken acknowledgement that the skirmish was over. The true battle had only just begun.